Solomon is a suite of calculators that helps appraisers support assignment results. We start with depreciated cost, which is a recognized method in the appraisal literature. Think of depreciated cost as contributory value. In the sales comparison grid, we adjust for the contributory value of differences. If the subject has 2 garage stalls and the comparable has only 1 stall, we add the contributory value of 1 garage stall to the comparable. How do we know the contributory value of 1 garage stall? The ideal is to find 2 properties from the same market that differ only by 1 garage stall. If the sale prices differed by $8,000, the adjustment would be $8,000. This is paired data in its purest form. The math is simple, but it is difficult to find 2 current sales that differ only by 1 stall. But there is one place where you can always find the differences in cost between 1 and 2 garage stalls. Cost differs by location and quality, but you will find the difference in cost between a 1-stall garage and 2-stall garage in your cost manual. We all know that cost does not equal value. The reason cost does not equal value is depreciation. Assume that our unbiased third-party cost data shows the cost of an additional garage stall is $10,000. Assume also that we do the cost approach with the same cost data and it shows depreciation is 20%. When depreciation is 20%, contributory value is 80% of cost. The market value of an additional garage stall is $8,000 because we have extracted the percentage of contributory value from the market using the same data as our cost reference. Here is an example of a GLA adjustment that is found in the user manual. When a buyer and seller agree on a price of $450,000, an appraiser who knows land values should think of this as the buyer paying $100,000 for the site and $350,000 for the building. Now let's assume that $100,000 includes as-is value of site improvements. The $350,000 amount is called the contributory value of the improvements. An appraiser who goes the next step and applies unbiased third-party cost data to the building characteristics may find that the current replacement cost of the building is $500,000. This means that depreciation is $150,000. Contributory value is 70% of replacement cost. $350,000 divided by $500,000 is 70%. The 10 of 4 assumes economic age-life depreciation. Effective age divided by economic life is the percentage of depreciation. Economic life minus effective age is remaining economic life. Remaining economic life divided by economic life is the percentage of current replacement cost paid by the market. Solomon will help you support assignment results like effective age and remaining economic life. Beyond that, Solomon will simplify your analysis of these assignment results and the relationship to sales grid adjustments. Economic age-life depreciation is the first of 2 key concepts you need to understand to properly apply depreciated cost analysis. The second key concept is marginal cost. More on that later, but think of marginal cost as the cost of 1 more unit of production, 1 more garage stall, 1 more bath, or 1 more square foot of GLA. Follow along with this example. Assume we need to support a GLA adjustment for a 2,400 square foot house. We have located 2 sales in MLS that are identical except for GLA. Comp 1 has a market value of $460,000 and 2,500 square feet of GLA. Comp 2 has a market value of $446,000 and 2,300 square feet of GLA. When we subtract, $14,000 is the contributory value of 200 square feet of GLA. The contributory value per square foot is $70. This is the GLA adjustment. This is a classic example of paired data analysis. Paired data analysis is based on the premise that when two properties are equivalent in all respects but one, the value of the single difference can be measured by the difference in price between the two properties. That is a direct quote from the Appraisal of Real Estate 15th edition on page 372. The logic is rock solid, but the application of this logic is limited by the inability to locate pairs that are equivalent in all respects but one. Depreciated cost analysis overcomes the sparse pair problem. If there are not two properties equal in all respects but one in MLS, there is another source of data that will provide the answer. This source is the cost manual. If the average cost of 2,500 square feet of GLA is $144 per square foot, and the average cost of 2,300 square feet of GLA is $147.83, we know that a change of 200 square feet results in a change of $20,000. Dividing, we see that the cost of one more square foot, the marginal cost of GLA, is $100. When the remaining economic life is 70% of economic life, the contributory value of GLA is $70 per square foot. The depreciated cost method applies to the lower half of the sales comparison grid. After adjusting for date of sale, market-supported adjustments for the lower half of the grid allow you to use adjusted pairs and sensitivity analysis for the other half. Solomon includes all the tools you need to complete the cost approach and sales comparison approach. Contributory value is the common theme. Contributory value in the cost approach is depreciated cost. In the sales comparison approach, grid adjustments are contributory value. Our first calculator is called Solomon adjustment. Contributory value as a percentage is equal to remaining economic life divided by economic life. Enter the subject zip code top left. If you want to eliminate the published zip code multiplier from the calculations, enter the word base for base cost. Choose the subject quality rating. If quality falls between 3 and 4, click 3 and then the quality half-step box. Enter remaining economic life. If you need to modify the cost multiplier that goes with the zip code, enter a positive or negative whole number. Entering 7 increases the cost 7%. Masonry exterior increases cost from 5 to 10%. Entering -9 decreases cost 9%. Tract work and highly repetitive jobs may reduce the cost 8 to 12%. Click Calculate. Market-based adjustments appear on the right. These adjustments are market-based when you have extracted the remaining economic life from the market. Solomon cost is designed to extract a percentage of a contributory value from the market. There are two workflows you can follow. First is to choose a comparable property with equal depreciation to the subject. Enter the market value top right. Continue by entering site value, as-is value of site improvements, zip code, quality rating, GLA, central air, basement square feet, total area of the basement, and basement finish square feet. For houses without basements, the GLA numbers include a foundation, either slab or crawl space. Basement baths are not included in the basement finish numbers, so add full and half bath counts. GLA does include baths that vary with quality rating. Enter fireplace count for both above-grade and below-grade fireplaces. Deck square feet is the area of a wood frame structure with decking. Covered porch has a foundation and roof structure. If there are two porches with 200 square foot each, enter 400. Screen porch is a covered porch with screens. Enclosed porch is a screen porch with glass windows. Garage square feet is the garage area. Same for carports. Factor is used to modify the cost multiplier that goes with zip code. Enter a positive or negative whole number. Entering 7 increases the cost 7%. Masonry exterior increases cost from 5 to 10%. Entering -9 decreases cost 9%. Tract work and highly repetitive jobs may reduce the cost 8 to 12%. Additional features are used to add cost for features within the house that are not included above. If you are doing a refi appraisal and the owner points out the new $10,000 built-in sauna or saltwater aquarium, describe and enter cost here. Cost does not equal value, so you will depreciate it later in the process. One appraiser uses this field to include what he considers to be an extra bath that goes beyond the baths included in GLA cost. You can find the cost of a bath in Solomon adjustment by using remaining economic life equal to economic life. We license cost data from National Building Cost, who assumes Q4 has less bathrooms than bedrooms, a Q3 has equal numbers of bathrooms and bedrooms, and a Q2 has more bathrooms than bedrooms. See page 24 of the user manual. Click Calculate. The Contributory Value calculator converts square footage into cost to complete the cost approach. This slant on the cost approach calculates the percentage of depreciation and percentage of contributory value. Notice how market value minus site improvements equals depreciated cost. Depreciated cost is contributory value. Dividing depreciated cost by replacement cost results in the same ratio as dividing remaining economic life by economic life. Bottom right, there is a column labeled Default Adjustment. This data assumes that every component of the house depreciates at the same rate. The formula is remaining economic life divided by economic life times the marginal cost of each component. The center column allows you to modify the assumption that economic life is the same for all components. This is illustrated by the deck, which has a lifespan of 20 years. The National Association of Home Builders states that a deck has a lifespan of about 20 years. 20 years is only 33% of the 60-year economic life assumption of a Q4 house. The National Building Cost data that is included in your subscription develops their cost data from assumptions about economic life. 70 years for Q1 through Q3, 60 years for Q4 and 5, and 55 years for Q6. Remember that we are assuming current replacement cost that is not affected by the historical performance of a given house. Economic life is different than physical life. For those reasons, I use the economic life assumptions behind the development of the cost data. Back to the percent of economic life feature. The economic age-life method assumes that the appraiser includes all forms of depreciation in their estimate of effective age: physical, functional, and external depreciation. An example of this is the functional depreciation to a second fireplace. If a second fireplace is worth half of the first fireplace, enter 50. Now you have an adjustment for one fireplace on the left and a second fireplace on the right. In my market, a basement bath is worth about half as much as an above-grade bath. This could be due to lower cost on the same plumbing stack as an above-grade bath. To me, it seems more likely that a basement bath suffers functional depreciation compared to an above-grade bath. I use 50, so the above-grade bath adjustment is on the left, and the below-grade bath adjustment is on the right. Basement finish tends to depreciate faster because short-lived components like paint, carpet, and ceiling are a high percentage of cost. GLA itself is comprised of long-life structural components and shorter-life items like a 20-year roof, 20-year furnace, 10-year water heater, 10-year carpet, 10-year paint, etc. There are too many to calculate, so we conducted a survey of Solomon users who knew the default GLA adjustment was too high for houses in the C3 to C5 range. The survey result was 63, which I use in the percent economic life column. These are the percentages I start with on a C3 to C4 house. When you have come this far, you have a good idea of the effective age, remaining economic life, and depreciated cost adjustments for a house like the subject. If you do not include the cost approach of the subject in your report, you are done with the cost-related adjustments. If you include the cost approach in your report, there is a different workflow. When using Solomon cost on the subject property, the process starts with an estimate of market value. This is not the same as appraising to a predetermined value. Think of it as the second step of the scientific method. The scientific method starts with observations. By the time you have measured the subject, taken photos, stopped at each comp for a photo, and returned to your desk, you have made enough observations to develop a hypothesis of value. That is the second step of the scientific method. The third step of the scientific method is to test the hypothesis. Do that by using the depreciated cost adjustments in the grid. The fourth step in the scientific method is to follow the data and change the hypothesis if needed. This will change the depreciation and adjustments. Tweak the adjustments in the grid and see where the data leads. Be an analyst. Before we move on, I want to touch on something you may encounter using Solomon cost. When this happens, it usually means that site value is too low or cost is too low. At a given market value and cost, there is a direct trade-off between site value and depreciation. We will talk more about this in the chapter on Solomon site. Before we do that, let's talk about Sidekick. Sidekick calculates depreciated cost adjustments for all categories found in Solomon cost. Choose a quality rating, enter a multiplier. The multiplier link brings you to cost modifications and zip code multipliers. Enter effective age. USPAP states that appraisers must not make unsupported assumptions about effective age. Effective age includes all forms of depreciation, so it is best to extract depreciation from the market in the cost approach. Solomon cost is designed to do this. The GLA bracketing tool does not affect adjustment calculations. It is provided as a convenient way to document the GLA search criteria. Adjustments are calculated in the EQD column with the assumption that depreciation is equal throughout the house. The center column, labeled %EL, allows the appraiser to account for faster depreciation due to lower economic life of some components. This is explained in more depth in the section about Solomon cost. The percentages that autofill have been found to be a good starting point in my market. These percentages can be edited by the user. See more detail through the Sidekick manual link. I remember being frustrated with the accuracy of cost data from my earliest days as an appraiser. A new construction project only proved that the data was not accurate. Solomon Cost New solves this problem. Start at the top with site value and site improvements. Rather than zip code, type in the word base. You will see why in a minute. Use the drop-down to enter quality level. Enter GLA. Click on yes or no for central air. Enter basement square feet and basement finished square feet. Enter basement full bath and basement half bath counts. This is because the GLA numbers include above grade baths, but the basement finish numbers do not include basement baths. Enter square feet of decks, covered porch, screen porch, enclosed porch, garage, and carport. Center screen, you will see cost according to national building cost. The indicated value by cost approach is probably different than what houses like this are selling for in your market. Solomon Cost New solves the problem by extracting a cost multiplier from the market. Enter the local market value of a new house like this next to builder sale price lower left. Click Calculate. If national building cost and builder sale price are a match, you'll see 0.00 next to builder versus cost data. This means no cost multiplier is required. If builder sale price is higher than indicated value by cost approach, you'll see something like 1.04. This means that national building cost is 4% higher than the local market, indicating you should use a multiplier of 4 in this market. Consider using base rather than zip code with a factor of 4 in other Solomon calculators. Best to have several observations of the market to learn what factor to use. Notice that the adjustments are labeled replacement cost, not depreciated cost. New construction has no depreciation. There are exceptions, such as highly personalized features that do not have general appeal in the market. Which numbers should you use in the cost approach section of your report? Use the national building cost numbers with your local zip code if they appear reasonable. If those numbers do not fit your local market, use the local builder cost numbers. Be sure to include a statement to that effect in your comments on cost approach. Solomon Site is a market extraction tool. Enter sale price after concessions and other data describing a recent sale that has site characteristics similar to the subject. The factor field is used to modify cost data for repetitive builds, masonry exterior, etc. Top right, enter your estimate of effective age and as-is value of site improvements. Click here and opinion of site value is calculated. Small changes in effective age have a large effect on site value. This is because there is a direct trade-off between site value and depreciation for a given cost and market value. As with other Solomon calculators, you can print the report or take a screenshot for your work file. If you have extracted a multiplier from your market in Solomon Cost New, use that along with the word base for zip code. Solomon does integrate with ClickForms with instructions available by clicking the links. Solomon Manufactured is designed to provide depreciated cost adjustments for manufactured housing. Quality ratings differ from the UAD system. Refer to illustrations in the user manual. Enter zip code, enter quality rating, click the quality level half-step box for a quality between 2 ratings. Enter remaining economic life. Click calculate and adjustments for GLA and baths appear top right. For deck, porch, carport, and garage adjustments, enter the square footage of each feature lower left. Solomon Market Time. Top left, enter street address, sale price, and concessions for Comp 1. Use the date picker tools to enter the comparable contract date and report effective date. Enter the annual rate of appreciation or a dollar per day rate of change. Click Calculate. Enter the same information for Comps 2, 3, and 4. Report effective date and rates of change are filled from Comp 1. Secondary data. Enter sale price and concessions for a comparable property. Click the See Secondary Data Results button. Before using these results in a report, learn about the nature of secondary data by clicking the blue link. Secondary data is information that is not gathered in its original form by the analyst. Secondary data is used to support adjustments derived by other methods. The secondary data calculator applies percentage adjustments to the market value of comparable properties. The percentages are derived from surveys of appraisers. Click the link to see survey results. Click on 2022 Appraiser Survey. These are the 34 questions that were asked of appraisers in a blind survey. Question 6 is, assume you are appraising a house on a low-traffic residential street. An identical house just sold on a busy street for $400,000. What would that house have sold for on a low-traffic street? The mean of all responses is used to report a percentage. Scroll down to the statistics for question 6. The mean of all responses was $420,642. The median response was $420,000. The most frequent answer was $440,000. 48 appraisers answered the question. This methodology is patterned after a concept called wisdom of crowds that was discovered by Sir Francis Galton in 1906. Galton was the first to use a questionnaire to document survey results. Galton was first to use the regression line and chose the letter R to represent the correlation coefficient. Galton's protege is Carl Pearson, who was the first to teach statistics as an academic discipline. Wisdom of crowds is based on the premise that if you ask a large number of independent, decentralized, non-experts a question that has a number for an answer, and then find the mean of their answers, you will have a more reliable result than if you had asked one expert. I have applied this to appraisal questions that were asked to a large group of independent, decentralized appraisers. There is no geographic competency because the appraisers are spread out across the country and no location was specified. They are non-experts. Remember that this is secondary data analysis, which is used to support adjustments derived by other methods. Sensitivity analysis. Paired data and group data analysis are variants of sensitivity analysis, which is a method used to isolate the effect of individual variables on value. You can find that quote in the Appraisal of Real Estate 15th edition on page 372. This tool can be used to find an adjusted pair adjustment. Enter bedroom as the independent variable and 3 for the bedroom count of a property which has an adjusted sale price of $400,000. The adjusted sale price must have all other adjustments made. Enter bedroom count 4 and adjusted sale price of $408,000 in the second row of the table. Click Analysis and the adjustment appears. Now you could have done that in your head, but what about 4 comparables, each with different adjusted sale prices? Enter the other bedroom counts and adjusted sale prices. Remember, Galton's R, the correlation coefficient, R square is the coefficient of determination. About 7% of the change in the adjusted sale prices is determined by the change in bedroom count. In other words, you have determined that no bedroom count adjustment is warranted. You can use sensitivity analysis for bedroom count, bath count, garage stalls, site size, age, GLA, anything that has a number you can use as the independent variable, and then adjusted sale price after all other adjustments have been made. Adjustment categories such as view, location, condition, and quality can be adjusted by applying a rating for the independent variable and adjusted sale price as the dependent variable. The calculator only works for ranking systems with higher numbers being superior to lower numbers. I use a 5-star rating like you see for hotels. 3 is average, 4 is better, 5 is best, 2 is below average, and 1 is the least. Remember that sensitivity analysis used in this way assumes all other adjustments have been applied. If you need to use this tool for 2 adjustment categories, determine which can be accomplished with adjusted pair analysis. After you have made that adjustment, use 3 or more comps to develop a sensitivity analysis adjustment. Sensitivity analysis complements depreciated cost analysis. Forecast analysis. This tool is based upon the Excel forecast function. Rather than solving for an adjustment rate, forecast solves for market value. you can see the adjustment rate in the equation. This rate is applied to a characteristic of the subject to calculate a value. This was designed to solve problems like acreage site values. It can also be used to solve for an unknown GLA adjustment and reconcile a value. The user manual. Access the user manual from the menu to the left of the screen. The menu opens and closes by clicking the three bars top left. The user manual is a comprehensive guide to all Solomon tools. At the end of each section, there is a recommended commentary you can use to explain your adjustments. Use them as a guide as you write in your own personal style. Most Solomon tools have blue links you can use for more detailed explanations and examples. The survey results bottom left are the original surveys compiled in the early years. The secondary data tool does not include all previous surveys, but has the most recent surveys for categories that seem most important. Solomon licenses unbiased third-party cost data. There is nothing more to buy. The cost data assumes economic life that varies by quality ratings, which coincide with UAD categories. Solomon is a streamlined cost approach solution centered on the discovery of contributory value. The cost approach reveals contributory value in two ways. Depreciated cost is contributory value. The percentage of contributory value is remaining economic life divided by economic life. Knowing the percentage of contributory value positions you to solve the lower half of the grid with depreciated cost adjustments. With half the grid solved, use adjusted pairs and sensitivity analysis to solve the top half. Solomon gives you the tools you need to complete the sales grid in an orderly and systematic way. Adjustments are market-based because you have extracted the percentage of contributory value from the market.